what's going on or not what's going on up in North Jersey have to do with the Cal WJFL merger this time?
That's a great question, and all I can tell you is that I think it's an individual answer for each individual school that voted. I can tell you that you know, there was a large majority that voted in favor of the Cal this time. I think that I can't say that the North Jersey didn't have something to do with that. I think that historically the state has looked at North Jersey as the place that they want to make sure that they solve their problems and not really worry about the South too much. You know, I think we have solved our problems in the South and want to continue to do that.
What does the Cape Atlantic bring to the WJFL, or what does the WJFL bring to the Cape Atlantic?
I think it's a win-win. I think that one thing we've learned in the process of joining the 4 conferences together originally for West Jersey football is that in some ways bigger is better. It gives you more flexibility, it gives you opportunities to really match up schools with like programs. You don't have to play mismatched teams against each other in games. And I think, you know, there's opportunities for both strong schools in each of the conferences and schools in need of a little bit of relief and help in each of the conferences to benefit.
When will the WJFL hierarchy begin thinking about scheduling and what to do with the Cal teams and where they're going to be placed?
You know, we've had ongoing discussions about, you know, what might things look like. This will be really not that much different than a normal cycle where we're actually going to do the scheduling cycle for 2 years, in that we'll start to look at the 2-year win-loss records from all the teams in probably at the end of October, beginning of November. Start to look at those, start to look at what we think the enrollment figures are going to be in, and go forward then to start to do divisional alignments, and then ultimately after that go to the scheduling process. If
everybody has football a year from now, we're talking 83 teams, what do you figure on division configuration? How many per?
We have really hit on, I think, a good number, which is 6. So we're going to try to do 6. Obviously with 83 you can't do all divisions of 6. One would have to be a division of 5. 6 is good in that it gives you 5 divisional games, it gives you 4 crossover games, it gives you some flexibility for the crossover games. So I think we'll try to keep it around, you know, the number of 6. And again, geography and strength of program will be big players in deciding, you know, which division schools go into.
Is there any possibility that we would see an all-parochial division within the WJFL?
I would say, in my opinion, absolutely not. Seeing the climate of, you know, not just our climate in South Jersey, but what's going on possibly in the North. I don't think there's many people in the South that would be willing to do that. The travel is just too great. I mean, honestly, West Jersey Football League came together on the premise of geography being a big component, and that doesn't change when you're a private school as compared to a public school. Geography is still a big piece of what people, you know, like about West Jersey football.
Well, a year from now, the big story is going to be St. Joe Hamilton, you know, a dominant team in the Cape Atlantic, coming to the WJFL. And I know you can't speak for all your division representatives and athletic directors, but if you had to guess, what would you see St. Joe getting as far as a division schedule and then maybe crossovers? Would they stick to the one above, one below that you've used successfully?
No, because that's not really a component any longer. Prior to voting for entrance for the Cape Atlantic League, we actually had a vote that changed our agreement, and that allows us to go more than one school group size, bigger or lower, if it's, you know, if it's deemed that the program is competitive enough to do that. So that's really not an issue anymore. We could have any strong team play any other strong team, regardless of, you know, the size of their school and the size of the program.
Could we see, I mean, would be like a dream matchup, could we see St. Joe Hamilton against a Shawnee, a Cherokee, a Lenape, a Washington Township, a Trenton? Could we see that?
Geography is going to be a piece, as I've said, but you know, there's not really anything that's off the table. We have, you know, historically had teams that wanted to go out and play farther away teams, whether it's for relief and play a like program, or play a more high caliber marquee game. So all of those things are on the table, and I think that there is the possibility of some really, really interesting matchups, to say the least.